Hello and welcome back to Man vs Film. It's time for another top 10 movies that you can watch this month, June 2021. So let's just jump right into it. Number 10, The Florida Project. Set over one summer, the film follows precocious 6-year-old Mooney as she courts mischief and adventure with her ragtag playmates and bonds with her rebellious but caring mother, all the while living in the shadow of Walt Disney World. The Florida Project is one of those fascinating movies that just grabs a hold of you as you watch it. Following this young girl of Mooney, you see her traverse this world that she lives in and how it's not the best living environment. You get William Dafoe as the person who kind of runs the motel that they live in, and it's just one of those movies that deeply affected me. I've seen this parent who wants to do the best but can't, who's trying all kinds of things, who's ostracised by her friends at the moment, to see some of the things that are going on behind the scenes and almost in front of the kids' eyes is really kind of shocking as well. It's a great movie and one that needs to be seen just for the ice cream sequence alone. Number 9, Zombieland. Two men have found a way to survive the zombie apocalypse. Columbus is a big wuss, but when you're afraid of being eaten by zombies, fear can keep you alive. Tallahassee is an AK-toting, zombie-slaying badass, and they join forces with Wichita and Little Rock, who have also found unique ways to survive the zombie mayhem. They will have to determine which is worse, relying on each other or succumbing to the zombies. Zombieland is just one of those really fun movies. It took the tired zombie genre and added a big dose of humour into it. Of course, it's populated by 4 wonderful characters, which really adds to the storyline as well. If they weren't so lovable, if they weren't so kind of neurotic as well, would we really attach ourselves to them as much as we did? It's great direction and the humour really hits home. There is a wonderful cameo by Bill Murray, which could be my favourite cameo in any movie. Number 8, Cradle to the Grave. When his daughter is kidnapped and held in exchange for priceless diamonds, the leader of a crew of highly skilled urban thieves forges an unlikely alliance with a Taiwanese intelligence officer to rescue her. They race against the clock to find the precious stones, and ultimately unravels a plot to distribute a deadly new weapon of war. This was kind of round about the time where Jet Li was having a few American movies, and also at the time where DMX was starting to become an actor, and it joins forces with these two, and to be honest, it's a really fun action movie. One of those ones that seems to have been forgotten long after the time it was made, but going back to it, it doesn't really offer anything in the form of surprises, but Jet Li and DMX together are really fun pairing. It's got great action set pieces, it's got a real bad guy to root against, and it offers up just a fun throwback to a kind of time and era that's been a little bit forgotten. Number 7, The Wind. Lizzie is a tough, resourceful frontierswoman settling in a remote stretch of land in the 19th century. Isolated from civilization in a desolate wilderness where the wind never stops howling, she begins to sense a sinister presence that seems to be born of the land itself, an overwhelming dread that her husband dismisses as superstition. When a newlywed couple arrive at a near homestead, their presence amplifies Lizzie's fears, setting into motion a shocking chain of events. The Wind is a kind of slow burn horror movie where we're spending a lot of time with Lizzie, our main character, as things start to kind of change and move round about her. Little things that slowly start to creep into her psyche, and we have for a long time a feeling of, is it Lizzie who's having a mental breakdown, or is there something grander there? It kind of mixes the feeling of maybe the Babadook a little bit into that, to give you an idea of what the movie is almost like. And I think it really kind of works, but it's one that you need to work with. It takes a little bit of time to get going, looks stunning, and it's a fun movie if you're willing to invest in it. Number 6, Best of the Best. A misfit team of American kickboxers must undergo rigorous training for an all-important contest against a ruthless Korean team. Along the way, the hardened fighters learn to lay their personal ghosts to rest. I've loved Best of the Best since the early 90s when I first discovered it. It's a kind of silly movie. 5 fighters from American side are going to fight 5 Korean fighters in a tournament to see who's the best. No other countries are really involved, it's just these two, but it's fun. You get the antagonistic Koreans and we see them being all badass and stuff, and we get an insight into the Americans as they try to overcome whatever turmoils they have. It's very formulaic and you can see what's coming, but damn, does it work? It's incredibly fun. It's got some good fight sequences, some over-the-top acting moments that are just oh so perfect, and it's just an endearing nostalgic trip for me. I'd be interested to see how it fares if this is your first watch, so let me know. Number 5, Hush. A deaf writer who retreated into the woods to live a solitary life must fight for her life in silence when a masked killer appears in the window. Hush is a brilliant movie, short, punchy and gets straight to the point. We have a deaf writer in a house that seems to be covered in glass. We have this killer who is stalking her, she can't hear, and he begins to playfully hunt her down, really causing her all kinds of turmoil. It's a wonderful survival story. Simply 2 actors, you know, the woman and the killer, and it's a tale for survival, but the direction is really well done. The atmosphere is wonderful, and the kind of stalk and slash and playful nature of that really ramps up a lot of tension in the movie. Number 4, Killing of a Sacred Deer. Dr. Stephen Murphy is a renowned cardiovascular surgeon who presides over a spotless household with his wife and 2 children. Lurking at the margins of his idyllic suburban existence is Martin, a fatherless teen who insinuates himself into the doctor's life in gradually unsettling ways. Soon, the full scope of Martin's intent becomes menacingly clear when he confronts Stephen with a long-forgotten transgression that will shatter his domestic bliss forever. Killing of a Sacred Deer is a really weird movie. You're not going to get a lot of answers throughout this one, but you get Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman as the family that's put in turmoil here by this weird kid that comes in and just shakes up everything. Like I said, there won't be answers. There's wonderful photography, wonderful direction, and great performances by the cast, a real sense of unknowing dread as to what's going on, an inescapable fate within this movie. It's never fully explained, but you don't really need it to be. It's just one of those movies that is ultimately horrific. In a good way. Number 3, Layer Cake. An unnamed mid-level cocaine dealer in London makes plans to step away from the criminal life. Before he can cut ties, the dealer's supplier Jimmy Price draws him into a complicated pair of jobs involving kidnapping the teenage daughter of a rival gangster and brokering the purchase of a large shipment of ecstasy pills from a dealer known as the Duke, leading to a series of elaborate double crosses from all corners. Matthew Vaughn directs Daniel Craig in this, and it's primarily the reason that he got the Bond job because of the role that he has here. It's wonderful. It is a kind of grown-up gangster movie, a little bit more mature than some of the Guy Ritchie earlier stuff, and I think it benefits for that. It's got a cast of absolute wonderful characters and a mounting sense of dread for our main character as things seemingly go consistently wrong for him and he struggles to get on top of the situation. It's got some wonderfully executed scenes, particularly an execution scene that is remarkably well done. Some great characters in this, and it's a story that I go back to often and I always enjoy it. Number 2, Stand By Me. It's the summer of 1959 in Castle Rock, Maine, and 4 12-year-old boys, Geordie, Chris, Teddy and Vern, are fast friends. After learning of the general location of a body in the local boy who has been missing for several days, they set off into the woods to see it. Along the way, they learn about themselves, the meaning of friendship, and the need to stand up for what is right. Stand By Me is an amazing movie. It's a movie that I have always loved. It's so endearing and it offers a time and a place and a friendship that you can't help but be won over by. These four kids are amazing, and it's that kind of turning point in their life where they're about to enter into the beginnings of adulthood and things will never be the same again. It's that one last longing summer where everything was just amazing before it kind of faded away. I think the actors are all great. I think the situations are wonderful. I think the moments where it really shines is when the characters are just walking along the tracks, just talking, having that kind of banter that kids do. It's just so incredibly fun. Stand By Me holds up remarkably well. I'm feeling it's going to be a movie that I watch long into my old age and get something out of. It's just remarkably well done. I hope you watch Stand By Me. It's a terrific classic. Number 1, Army of the Dead. After a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, an ex-soldier must gather together a ragtag group of mercenaries and take the ultimate gamble by venturing into the quarantine zone before a nuclear strike to steal all the money that's been left in Vegas's vaults. It's an action movie by Zack Snyder involving zombies. It kind of puts together a lot of things that he's done well in the past. It's got a great cast of characters, and it's just a heist movie at its heart, which I really love as well, with a sense of dread and threat in it, thanks to these kind of different zombies that we get this time around. There's reasons as to why everything is laid up that way, but it's explained in the movie. The cast of the mercenaries are absolutely wonderful, from Dave Bautista all the way down to say characters that don't last too long in the movie but have a real impact. They're funny, they're endearing, you like this group of people. It's sad to see that not all of them make it to the end of the story. It's got some wonderful action, it's got moments that I hadn't seen done before in zombie movies that I really did kind of like. The aesthetic was terrific, and it's Zack Snyder doing what he does best, creating wonderful action movies filled with zombies and not as many super people as you would expect. I really liked Army of the Dead. It kind of ticked everything I wanted. Lazy Sunday afternoon movie and just brightened up my day. So there we have it. 10 movies that I hope you find something there that you really want to watch this month. If there's something I've left off my list, let me know in the comment box below, and I will see you next time on Man v Film.